Culture Crew. Finding the terrible, so you don't have to. Welcome to Bad Culture Crew, the premier source for the terrible. We're so glad you've joined our journey into this week's best of the worst media. Please take a moment to get comfortable, grab your favorite alcoholic beverage, and prepare for some hilarious fucking bad. This is Bad Culture Crew. Finding the terrible, so you don't have to. Presenting your hosts, Austin Daniels and Steve Nevels.
Thank you so much, Wendy. This is the Bad Culture Crew. We do find the terrible, so you don't have to. My name is Austin Daniels. I'm sitting alongside airport transit driver Steve Nevels. How are you doing today, Steve?
Well, you know, being a part of airport transportation,
Yes.
I've learned quite a few things. People, when they come to Atlanta, we're talking about Atlanta, right? This
Yes.
is where I work.
Yeah,
You know,
I don't know why. It seems very inconvenient.
Yeah, it's an awful long commute. First of all, it's 6.5 hour each way by bicycle that I take every single
That's really
day.
quick.
Yeah, I'm actually training to be.
You don't look like you work out at all. It's
because I didn't mention it's a motorized bicycle. I just said it was a bicycle.
Well, that's still something.
Yeah, because I'm training to be the next Tour de France champion, similar to my good buddy.
You're just as eligible as Lance Armstrong.
Yeah, I'm just preparing for the, stairwise jacking up a little bit. So, but the thing that I noticed when transporting people around over there in Atlanta is people bring a lot of luggage.
They do.
To Atlanta, and I'm wondering, that's not all necessary.
It's not.
It's probably not.
I brought one bag.
One bag is probably all you need because it seems like for the shorter amount of time that people say, the more luggage they bring.
Huh.
Like I could live out of a bag, like one suitcase for like a month, which I've done. And I'll be picking people up at the terminal, and I see they've got like 6 full-size suitcases.
And they're
I'm
there
like,
for 2
oh,
days.
what are you moving here? And they're like, no, I'm here for 3 days. I'm like, what the fuck is in the other bag?
I was there for 3 days, had one small bag.
Wow.
Now I got to tell you my
Unbelievable.
experience.
Oh, yeah. What was your experience?
Let me tell you this. So I have this shuttle organized for me to go from the Atlanta airport to my hotel.
Well, organizing a shuttle, you're already off on the wrong foot.
Okay. And the flight from Tampa to Atlanta is like an hour and 10 minutes, something like that.
Yeah, you could like run there faster.
Probably.
Yeah.
So I land around like 1:10, 1:30, somewhere in there.
In the afternoon?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think I got on the plane around noon or something like that, And I land.
A long flight.
Then I go get all the way to where I'm supposed to get on the thing. Well, the first thing they go is like, well, this shuttle service owns other local shuttle services, so we're going to put you on this one. And I'm like,
That makes sense.
all right, off to a good start. So I get the shuttle service, sit there for like 40 minutes, sweating. Okay?
As people tend to do in hot Atlanta.
So now it's like around 2:10. We finally go. But before we go, we lit on this drunk guy who is 10 years older than me.
Well, you let on a drunk guy at 2 in the afternoon?
Yes.
That's pretty good.
Really
Welcome to Atlanta.
loaded. Yells the entire ride
About what?
about, well, first he starts talking about my hair, questions my sexuality,
Okay. These are all
Continues to
valuable
yell.
concerns.
then goes, hey, by the way, I got a bunch of drugs. Luckily, it got through security.
Oh, he's got a bunch of H.
Then
Pushing some heroin.
Leaves for 20 minutes to roll around in the trunk of the car.
Really?
And we're like, what are you doing back there, man? I'm fine, man. I'm fine.
He was just looking for a place to
20
sleep.
minutes, comes back, yells some more. They finally drop both of these people off. There's a normal guy sitting in the front seat.
Did they drop him off at like a homeless shelter? Or?
I don't know. So through all of this, I didn't get back to the hotel. I didn't check in. I didn't walk into my hotel room until about, 4 o'clock. It took longer for the ride with this drunk asshole who had weed on him or probably other substances that are illegal that we don't condone in this program.
Oh, yeah. Especially not heroin ever.
Never. I mean, I don't know how else you do the show, but I'm just like, what is this? And I was very disappointed.
It's just a typical.
I'm getting my refund.
It's just a typical ride from point A to point B in Atlanta. I don't see what the problem is.
Everything else was good though. I liked it.
It sounds like it.
It was pretty good. Check that off the list.
Most of these transportation drivers, they're nice guys, you know.
Yeah, he was fine, but I felt bad.
You want to get on the bus all drunk and shit?
But I also feel like it's like you have to always promise, because I sat there. It's like I imagine my mom sitting here and she'd be losing her mind. She'd be losing it. And I was just like,
she'd be doing the mom thing. She would be like, "What would your parents think?"
Yeah. Well, the other thing was
the guy's like 45.
He was the oldest guy in the car. Like the guy driving was my age. I'm 28. He was 28. The guy in the front seat was like 24.
You know this to be a fact because you asked for the driver's ID. You were like, I will not get in the car until I see your driver's license.
Well, the drunk guy was going around asking people what their ages were. And he goes, I'm 36. Then he tells this story. Let me tell you this. He tells this story about blaming about how he almost got into, or how he almost died a few weeks ago.
Okay.
And I'm sitting there going,
that's about right.
Okay. So he was drunk driving or something, gets into a car accident, smashes into a tree.
Okay.
He gets slapped with the DUI and all this shit. So then he goes there, gets the hospital. You know, the ambulance comes over. He hasn't gotten his bills yet because he had to resuscitate him. He was like badly injured.
Oh, wow.
Hit his head and all this stuff. So he's a great, great man. He's complaining that the ambulance people, all they did was drive him there, and why the heck does he have to spend $1,000?
Yeah, it's uncalled for. I mean, he could have took a taxi and paid $20.
And I'm sitting there like, wow, you're a stupid idiot.
Absolutely outrageous. I cannot believe that they would charge him that much money.
And I'm just like, man, you're so unappreciative. And then he's sitting there doing this. I'm like, you are a pathetic loser. And I just sat there going,
might as well not even have resuscitated me. Fuck it, $1,000.
I hope I'm never like that. And I don't think this was oh man, I fucking hated this.
In 8 years, you'll be that guy.
I don't think so.
Driving the shuttle.
I don't think so.
That'll be you.
Anyways, let's get to the show.
Oh, are we doing a show?
We're doing a show. What is this, episode like 54 or something?
53.
Yeah. 3 or 4? I think it's 4.
It's 53.
Are you sure?
Yeah, 52. The 1 year was last week.
Man, you know, it's okay, because we went through a long record. Okay.
We did.
The therapy sesh. Steve, we're going to talk about somebody who has a problem with a possible new roommate.
Well, somebody who may get a new roommate.
Ooh, okay.
Coming straight from my favorite source for all things therapy sesh, the Grown Folks Conversation on Facebook.
All right.
We found a great story about a woman whose aunt has asked her for a very big favor in accommodating a living situation for niece or nephew, something like that, something along those lines. But there's a bunch of stipulations that come along with it. Got a whole big thing to talk about in the therapy sesh.
Back in the day this week, I'm going to talk about the See and Say.
I remember this thing vaguely.
Cow goes moo.
The cow goes moo.
But what does the fox say?
The yo-yo goes. The yo-yo goes.
The yo-yo's not an animal, but that's fine.
Oh.
Pick a side this week. It's a big debate on Twitter. Lemonade versus Views.
Well, I mean, I like to be able to see. I'm not a big fan of lemonade. It depends on how much sugar you put in it, I guess.
Okay.
So I don't know how. What kind of segment is that?
We're talking about musical albums, if you could call it that.
Oh.
Beyonce and Drake released some albums.
I was unfamiliar.
Make it weird this week. The topic says it all. Belly button beer.
Boy,
very illiterate.
I'm very excited to talk about that, and we'll see how many people would try this new concoction.
And you're going to end the show by talking about weird things people do in the bathroom because you love talking about bathrooms.
As always, in the classiest of forms, we will be talking a little. Last week, we did a great conversation about people who with toilet phobias that are just too shy to poop in front of anybody else. This week, we're talking about weird things that people do in the bathroom. We're going to count them up, tally it, see who's the weirder person in the last word.
That's going to be a tough one. But, before we do all that, it's time for the Bad Culture Commentary.
Culture Commentary.
Well, much like the footballs of the New England Patriots, that deflated quickly. I'm not necessarily talking about football, but rather the story of Will Ferrall and Ronald Reagan. And the Ronald Reagan movie that was to happen, but only to have Will Ferrall pass on the project. The now presumably dead movie was to star Will Ferrall as former President Ronald Reagan, slipping into dementia during his second term. In order to get through this, a White House intern convinces Reagan, the actor, that he is in a movie playing the president. Lots of backlash from the social media came out this week, feeling that this was a mockery of Alzheimer's disease, including disappointment from families who dealt with the disease and the Reagan family. Ferrall, presumably in the cautious mindset, backed out of the project within 2 days of this story breaking. There's lots of layers here, but I've done some thinking on this. Comedy, as well as freedom of speech, have been getting censored exponentially more and more in the past 5 years. Saying certain words or bringing about certain themes seem to blur what crossing the line really is. Now, I've thought about this and wondered if poking fun at a disease is crossing the line, and can it really be funny? Well, I couldn't think of many examples. I did recall a Norm Macdonald routine where he mocks cancer. My dad had cancer at the time, and I wasn't offended at all. In fact, I found McDonald's routine hilarious. So to me, even a disease like cancer can be used as material for humor. However, comedians do run the risk that if jokes about disease or something tragic, for that matter, come out as unfunny, they must understand that they're going to be looked at as offensive morons. There's no getting around that. This does, in the end, really come down to the argument if something is in good taste, and making a comedy about Alzheimer's is likely not worth the risk of that criticism. Yet, I still worry about this slippery slope. The more things I see censored in all forms of media make me concerned about our freedom of speech, and that's my bad culture commentary.
Yeah, that's probably my biggest concern here. It's not so much, the movie was probably going to be dumb. Anything these days that has Will Ferrall in it, you can just automatically assume pass on that.
Yeah,
because it's just gotten
it was so early. It was so early. I mean, you wouldn't have heard about this. There's probably other projects that are just at the same status as this Ronald Reagan movie that we haven't heard of that are on Will Ferrell's desk.
Yeah, and I'm
Right?
not. I mean, how funny would that have really been? Probably not. I mean, if it's Will Ferrell playing Will Ferrell like he does in every fucking Will Ferrell movie, I would have been like, yeah, pass. Mm-hmm. So now he can forego this project and go work on Daddy's Home 2.
Oh, yes.
Great. I'm really excited.
Yes.
Thanks for that.
Now, the thing I worry about, because I was sitting there, it's like, what is... And I feel like there was a lot of universal things going, oh, you can't make fun of this, you can't make fun of that. And I'm sitting there going...
that's one of the things that I'm just fucking so sick and tired. I'm so sick and tired of... Oh, we can't talk about that. It offends these people. I can't talk about that because it offends these people. We shouldn't... Then, you know what? Just don't make anything.
Right.
Because in one way or another... Everything is offensive to someone.
Yeah.
Like purple dinosaurs on a kid show is offensive to me. So just don't put that on the air anymore.
Yeah. The market will dictate what is funny or not. That's what it will. And it got me back to thinking, it's like Norm Macdonald just flat out made fun of cancer in this routine. And it was hilarious.
But
it was hilarious.
George Carlin was huge on making fun of diseases and people who were sick. And I mean,
so where did all of a sudden we can't make fun of this? Not that I want to take Alzheimer's people, put them in a room and just laugh at them. Like, that's not what it is. I feel like this is a mockery. This is a weird take on it. It's a goofball take.
Well, that's what I mean. Like how this script even landed in his hands, because I mean, obviously it had to go through a bunch of hands to get to Will Ferrell. So I mean, what was the chain of command that was reading this? It was like, yeah, this would be really fun. Give this to Will. This is hilarious.
Yeah, I don't know.
How does it get to that stage?
I don't know. But that's so early too, because he has Funny or Die and all those other things with Adam McKay and all that shit. So I don't know. I'm just worried about, because I feel like comedians now, and you'll talk, like I've heard Jerry Seinfeld talk about it, I've heard Chris Rock talk about it. It's like
under more and more scrutiny now, more than ever before. And I don't know I really don't know where you draw the line, because what can you say anymore?
Further and further toward things not being funny anymore,
Sure.
Like, and then the weird thing is oftentimes we need that stuff, and then people get past it. I remember, like, prime example is you look at South Park. I remember South Park every episode. Oh my God, offensive!
Oh, these people, and then people just got used to it.
And now it's just all right. This is what South Park did.
That's what they do.
And it doesn't have that sting anymore. Simpsons was a very similar thing. I can't believe this kid's swearing and then it's like, oh wow,
yeah. Beavis and Butthead was huge in that sense.
Beavis and Butthead was like that too. And I'm
Ren
just
and Stimpy was like that.
Yeah, and I'm just sitting there like, what if we're gonna continue to cut back? Is everybody's gonna be offended with the fucking safe spaces and all this shit? I'm just wondering. But you do have to. But on the flip side, you do have to take responsibility. And there is, is this in good taste? Probably not. But if you're a good comedian, you can get by in those things. I don't think anything really should be off limits when you're a comedian. As long as you can tell a good joke.
I don't think so either. But
otherwise, you look stupid. I'll tell you. I mean, you run that risk.
If you're Amy Schumer, like everything should be off limits. So just don't tell anyone.
Don't say that about that. She's really
I saw that she was in the news again last night.
What'd she do this time? I saw her face.
She will no longer take pictures with fans because some guy ran up to her when she was out the day of her show in South Carolina and tried to take a picture with her real quick. And she was like, no, I don't want to take a picture with you. And he basically told her, this is America. We made you. Shut up. And he tried to take a picture with her.
Why wouldn't she take a picture with him?
Because she didn't want to.
Huh. Okay.
And now she's like, that guy really scared me, and now I'm not taking pictures with
Okay, so basically
people
he was a
anymore.
rapist.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
He tried to force himself on her in the form of, I shoved a camera in your face because you're a celebrity, and that's what happens when you reach that status.
Okay, wonderful. That's great.
So-
good news. Good news.
But anyway, yeah, maybe she should take the role of Reagan. I bet you she can make it work.
I
It would be as good as Trainwreck.
mean, the only other thing is like, yeah, maybe the timing a little bit with Nancy Reagan going might want to hang out a little bit. I'll say that.
Yeah,
I'll
sure.
give him that. You know, you don't want to be like you got to be smart about it. I remember what show it was. Was it? I think it was South Park where they were doing some show. There was something about some shooting, and then the shooting in Connecticut happened or something. So they waited like a week or two.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that makes sense.
But they're still going to do it.
Right.
You know?
That makes sense. And there's ways to do things. But, you know, I'll say you run the risk, but I'm just worried about the slope we're going down if we start censoring comedians or other artists from doing what they want to do. As long as they're not inciting riots or violence.
I feel like we've been censoring comedians for a long time, and I feel like
that's
people
lousy.
are constantly under fire for shit that they say. And it's like, you know what? If you can't take the fucking joke anymore, just don't listen to it.
Yeah. Exactly. You know? And Will Ferrell's never been a malicious person. I've never felt that way. I don't think
No, I don't think he knows how to be.
You know,
he just knows how to be Will Ferrell, and
Yeah,
that's it.
and that's
So that's what I'm
fine.
saying. Like, how funny could a scenario have been? It's like Will Ferrell playing Ronald Reagan as Will Ferrell. I would have been like, yeah, great. That joke dries up in 10 minutes. That's like a SNL skit.
Yeah. And he's...
doesn't need a
You want to
fucking
see him do
feature.
George W. Bush? I remember people were like, is this offensive when he did that George W. Bush one-man show? And I'm like, why?
Yeah, I was like, what? It's exactly how he is. Like,
Exactly, it's fine.
He's not even like, I mean, yeah, he's mocking him, but it's not untrue.
Yeah, it's fine. But everybody mocks every president. So that's fine. The next president will get
again,
mocked,
it's
for
something
sure.
that comes with the title of the president.
Either Hillary-
Just be prepared to be mocked.
Either Hillary or Trump are definitely going to get mocked. We know that much, and it's going to be awesome.
It's going to be wonderful.
Let's move on with the show. But before you do that, make sure you get on Bad Culture Cruise. Tell us what you think about the Ronald Reagan
Yeah, would
movie
you
that's
like to
not
see
gonna
this movie?
happen.
Would you like to see a sequel? Should this be a franchise? I think it would be great.
I don't know what more you can do with it.
Dude, you could, and the possibilities are absolutely endless.
I don't think so. Steve, what are we doing next?
Hey, guess what? We've got a really great story here about a woman whose aunt wants her to take in a niece or nephew. I don't know. I haven't read the full story yet because there is certain stipulations that come along with a new roommate. It's the therapy sesh.
Therapy sesh.
So thanks, Grown Folks Conversation. This is a really great one.
Yeah,
a lot of
this one's a long trek here.
A lot of times we get into like these relationship problems, and you know, I feel like 9 times out of 10 we sort of like get as close to an appropriate response as possible in this segment. But this one is going to take a little bit of a
This is a walk.
a road less traveled on this show.
Robert Frost, good poem.
So here it is. My husband and I just separated, and now I have a new place.
Okay, so what's your number? Give you a call.
The next day, my aunt called and said that she heard I moved.
next day?
The
Jesus.
very next day. My aunt called and she heard that I moved and wanted to know if her son could live with me. The problem is he is in prison and will be released out on parole soon.
Why wouldn't... Okay. Why
So-
wouldn't you just live with the mom?
He was a suspect in a horrible crime, but lack of evidence resulted in him being charged with lesser offense. My aunt is afraid her son will be murdered if he comes to her home and wants him away and safe. I was caught off guard with her request, but said yes. As a mother, I feel her desire to protect her child. My issue is I'm torn because I want to help my aunt, but feel as if there's something I can't do. I just got out of a marriage and I'm trying my best to adapt to my new life. My place is 3 bedrooms for myself and 2 girls, and there is no room for him. I try to tell my aunt in a nice way, but she insists it's only for an address, no home visits, and insists he won't be in my home long, only here until she can get his parole transferred out of state. By the way, my aunt just moved out of a bad area into a nicer neighborhood and has 2 bedrooms for herself and grandchildren, but still wants to use my address to help her son. Yesterday, the parole officer left me a voicemail saying she needs to validate his residence and needs to come for home visit. I am angry that I've been asked to do this kind of favor. I'm scared because I don't know anything about parole or the process it involves. My son is away in college. I have 2 girls at home to raise. I don't know if helping him puts my immediate family in danger, Please respond if you have any valuable feedback to give. Should blood be thicker than anything else?
Okay, let's talk about this and break this down a little bit.
Holy shit.
Absolutely let this person here because,
What you need to do
the best thing is family first, like your Arrested Development.
I mean, even if he did kill somebody, which I'm sure that this is what it's pertaining to.
Yes.
And this will put I would imagine if there's girls living at home like they're younger. I'm
saying 9 and 12.
The thing you want to do is put all of your immediate family in the worst possible danger.
Now, this also comes at an opportune time because when you break up with your husband, the first thing you want to do is complicate your life to an extent that's ridiculous.
And you need to bring a new man, whether it's blood related or not. You need to bring a new man into your life because everybody knows that women can't do anything by themselves.
Obviously
so
not. The boys away at college, you need a dangerous felon.
You need a man in the house that has a criminal record.
Dangerous felon men automatically more responsible than women.
Especially since you just moved into a new place.
I mean, it's probably a cool place.
She says that there's 3 bedrooms, so I'm thinking do the 2 girls share a bedroom? I'm going to say yes. Okay. And then the son is away at college, so why doesn't she have room?
Yeah, and then when the son comes back...
There are holes in your story, lady.
And then when the son comes back, it becomes a cool odd couple scenario.
It's just awesome. You guys
they share the same room.
They could be bunkmates. Wait a minute. He's used to sharing a room. Let's get over it.
This sounds to me just like a wacky sitcom ready to go, and I can't wait to watch this TV show.
Until these notorious thug drug dealers come knocking on your door at 4 a.m. and want to shoot up your entire apartment. I don't know. Totally that sounds more like a Wire situation.
No, wacky scenario, because you always have wacky neighbors. You're like, oh, the wacky neighbor, like Kramer. That's what it'd be like.
So I guess the aunt, do you think she's taking advantage a little bit?
Why would you ever say yes to that is my question.
Why would you ever ask somebody that? They're like, look, my son.
I get it, because she has no other option. She probably is like, I don't know what to do.
She's like, look, my son, he's a criminal. He's a violent criminal. He's
really.
A felon. Okay?
But they don't have enough evidence.
I'm afraid if he comes back to this house, he will be murdered. So I'm going to send him to your house. So in case he is murdered, they do it over there.
Yeah. You got to keep our house clean. Yeah, I don't know.
Dude, I wouldn't want any blood stains all over my living room. Like, your living room carpet, you know how hard it is to get those stains out?
Yeah.
Shit takes weeks.
You can't just put part in it.
Stanley Steamer has to come over 3 separate times. They can't do it all in one sitting.
Well,
so I don't know.
That's dumb.
I think that's the strangest thing. That's the strangest request anybody has probably ever made in the therapy sesh.
I guess the person can owe you big time if you do that.
Yeah, it's like, what do? They write you an IOU. They're like, now look,
next time one of my kids wants to...
next time one of your girls gets locked up and they get on parole, they can come stay at my house anytime.
Even Steven.
Done.
Which is you.
That'd be great. I think this lady made the completely wrong choice.
Yeah, you never should have said
this. I think that you just go, you know what? No, that's crazy. Don't ask me for something so ridiculous, you fucking freak.
And then that's it.
And that's all you have to say. And then hang the phone up and change your number. Done.
Yeah. And then call your husband back. Make sure you get a little extra sex in there.
Because this isn't even
your life.
This isn't even like it's your mom. This is your aunt.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, unless your aunt is your mom.
Well,
you know what I mean?
Scenario?
Or I just mean like if her mom is like deceased and like this lady raised her. You know what I mean? Like if this is the mother figure.
Nah, too much.
But
too much.
Even at that, I would be like, no family member would ever ask you to do this. Unless they knew good and well the fear for their safety was so great that they're like, you know what? Rather it happen over there than over here.
I can't believe right after a breakup. That's crazy. Anyways, what do you think?
Awesome. Get on Bad Culture Crew on Twitter. Tell us, did this lady make the right call? Is she a fucking moron for letting a convicted felon,
blood thicker than water,
come into her house with her 2 very small little girls with no room at the inn?
The problem is that blood is thicker than water because it is tough to get out those stains. Literally.
Oh, dude, I'm telling you. Like,
water just...
Never had blood on your carpet. It's just never going to fucking come out.
Let's move on with the show, Steve. Remember when the See and Say was cool?
Back in the day.
I remember when the See and Say was cool. You had that toy when you were a kid? You had that toy?
I know that I had it. I mean, it's just...
Everybody had that toy.
It's hard to visualize that far back because a lot of times I can't remember what fucking happened yesterday.
Okay. Yesterday was a weekend day. We record on Mondays. So anyways, the CNC was this toy that you probably had. It was made by
Oh, you know who it was made by.
Mattel. They don't have a cinematic universe like Hasbro.
I wish they did,
I wish they did. The CNC was like this little circular thing, and what you do is you would pull the string, and this little arrow would spin around and would land on something. And when whatever you pulled on, it would tell you what that thing said. So if it landed on a cow, it would go, the cow goes moo.
The cow goes, bleh.
Yes. Or if they land on a sheep, and that's the typical thing. If it landed on an animal, you'd pull it, you would find it. But you could also turn it yourself and pick which animal you wanted to hear.
See, the version of this toy that I had, it didn't have a pull string. It had a lever.
Oh, you
Almost
could have
like
the lever.
Like a slot machine in Vegas. They were teaching me young. They were like, pull the lever, see what you get. 3 cows in a row. I win $1 million.
Now, this was conceived in the 1960s after introducing a line of talking dolls from Mattel. So they were trademarked as chatty toys.
The fucking chatty Cathy dog.
Yes, because you would pull a string and then it would talk. And then Mattel decided, let's use the same idea to do a CNC. And the one I'm talking about is the farmer one here. That's one of the most popular ones. Would point to various farm animals.
So there were other versions of it?
Well, then it would expand, so we'll get to that. But it expanded to different realms here. Let's see here. There's a Mother Goose one, Peanuts, the Charlie Brown one, and they made all these different versions of them about things that these CNC things would do. And as you said, they did a different one, a pull lever version of the CNC talking.
That's the one I remember having.
There was a Dr. Seuss one. So they grew a bunch of these.
They grew them?
Yeah. 1989
on the CNC farm?
1989 ring was replaced by a lever.
That must have been when I had it,
Yep.
89.
And then eventually other, Play School and Hasbro, they made their own versions of these things. So I'm trying to think if there's anything else interesting about that. It appeared in Toy Story. They made jokes about it in Family Guy. Remember the German ones, like the cow says Shazoo and all this weird stuff. So
And vaguely.
so it's been a long, iconic toy when I was a thing. And one of the things I remember about the CNC when I was a kid
You
is
must have like a story, because I'm trying to think, like, I was sort of like too young to make memories when I had this fucking
there was
thing.
two things, because we didn't throw a lot of toys away because I was the oldest, so I'd still have younger toys.
You still have a CNC over there. I see it under the bed.
But I was the oldest, so we had younger kids, so they would play with the younger toys, so we still had them. But sometimes I would take an action figure or a toy and put it in the middle and have them spin around, or I would use the CNC as sort of like spin the wheel for a prize, and then I would put different prizes around it.
Give somebody a duck.
Yeah, I think I'd lay it down, and I would lay like different like Legos or something on each of those prizes, and that would be it. So if I was playing like a game show game with my action figures or whatever, I would do that.
Yeah, G.I. Joe need to be on The Price is Right.
The Price is Right. So those are things that I would do. It was weird. I don't know why I would do that stuff. And we had it was beat up. It was blue. That's the one I remember. It was a farmer one. It was blue. And I really liked that thing. I beat the hell out of that thing.
Yeah, the one I remember that I had was red.
And what was on it?
And I don't remember. Well, I was the farmer one, so like I said, I don't really remember.
The most popular one. You get the farmer
I don't really remember much of it. I just remember all the sounds that it would make. And when the batteries were dying, it sounded really funny.
It was like
because
yeah,
it would be like the coast.
Yes, it would do that. Yeah, that was so weird. I thought that was funny though.
That's what I mean. Like when you're young, you're like, oh, that's really funny. I wish it would do that all the time. My parents were like, stop fucking running the battery down on this thing. Because it takes 8D batteries.
I know, right? It would take those. Oh, man.
It would take those giant D batteries, and you're like,
right.
These days, it would be like 1 AAA.
Exactly.
I'm like, amazing how far energy efficiency has come.
Pretty weird,
since the
timeless
CNC.
toy, too, because I don't really see that changing ever, because that's like a staple preschool toy to have. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I think they're still in stores now.
Yeah, they are. I was looking online. I was looking at Toys R Us at like $15, $16. You can still get
That
them.
sounds about right. Well, that's funny because that's probably how much they were back in the 80s.
That's awesome.
So I'm just thinking the value has never increased nor decreased on this toy. It's sort of like a staple in American culture.
Well, yeah.
It's never going to go...
How much can you improve upon it? It's pretty great.
Yeah, there's no room for improvement. This is the perfect item.
This is it. 2,000 years from now, still playing
People are going to be like, well, give your 4-year-old the CNC because nothing is better than this for a 4-year-old.
You'd much rather have that physical version unless you got some digital version. That'd be
See, but that
lame.
would suck.
Yeah, because you got to pull that lever, or you got to pull the string.
Yeah, dude, the string's been out of play for a long time.
Yeah, you're right.
I think
I
the
had the
string
lever.
was more of a choking hazard.
Yeah, maybe.
Like I could imagine if that that plastic ring and the string pulled off of the device, that you could just choke on it.
Like Woody, and all that
Yeah.
stuff you'd have. I think we did have a Woody eventually that would do that,
But the CNC,
Yeah. Any other things about the CNC you want to talk about?
Dude, I don't remember it enough. I just remember having one. I remember it being this goofy little farm sounds, and I remember the plastic lever. Like that's all I remember from it.
I remember
really.
playing game shows with it because that's what a normal kid would
That's
do.
fucking weird.
No, it's fucking weird. Anyways, what do you think? Get back on a Bad Culture Crew. Tell us your memories of the CNC. Steve, what's going on next month?
Next month, back in the day, there will not be one. It's not going to happen.
What do you just do your job? Just do your fucking job. Fuck am I paying you nothing for it?
Yeah, exactly. We've come to a point in the show we get to pause down for a minute.
Pause down. Stop having fun.
Stop having fun for a minute, and we just want to sort of like get some important and serious messaging out of the way.
Keep some house for us, please.
This is the preemptive. This episode is the preemptive to the series finale.
The penultimate
the penultimate episode of the Bad Culture Crew. After next week, the show will go down for quite a while. This will be it for the year for us, because I am actually going to be moving on out of the state of Florida, moving on to other projects that sort of like forbode me from
definitely bigger and better things than this.
to keep me in this seat for now. So unfortunately, this is sort of where the road kind of doesn't end, but certainly is coming to a hiatus.
We'll stop for gas for a really long time.
For a while.
Yeah, me and Steve had a discussion over last weekend, right?
Yeah, it's been a couple weeks in the making now.
And we had a discussion about what to do, and we decided to rip the Band-Aid off quickly. We could proceed further, but we decided to rip the Band-Aid off quicker so we can move on to our other projects. However, we wanted to, as long as me and Steve don't hate each other in a few months or whatever it is.
Which is a very big possibility.
I mean, I don't really like you very much now.
I was going to say this.
So it's really not a good sign.
Creating distance between us will only make it worse.
Not true, though. But what we are thinking, though, is if Steve, he talked about, he's like, I've got bigger and better projects. I will not be able to do this. And I, of course, and he felt, I'll say this. He felt, and I'm saying this like he's not in the room, Steve felt really bad about this.
I do. And I still do.
And I assured him, because I am his best friend down here and best friend on the Bad Culture Crew, I have to say.
Yeah, he's the best person in the office.
Yeah, absolutely. We become great work friends, but not actually personal friends. But I will say, it's like, listen, I support anything that a coworker and friend would do to go on from there. And I was like, no. And I was more saddened on a personal level than I was on a work level, which of course was a huge priority because we're not people that do things half-ass around here. Obviously.
Well, we try not to. But
I read fucking Gray. Okay.
Yeah, we did read Gray one time, but it's amazing that we've come this far, and we have hit the year mark in this show, which is tremendously. It's a big staple for us because I had no idea that we would ever get this far, and there's so many people that have even messaged me and come to me the last couple of days. As I'm starting to tell more and more people about this,
right?
That are coming to me going, well, man, I listen to the show every week. I really enjoy listening to it. There's a lot of fun stuff that goes on, and I didn't realize that there were that many people that were really involved in the listening of the show on a weekly basis.
Yeah, it's a huge compliment to us. I mean, we work really hard. I mean, Steve, I'll tell you this, Steve on this show is like the technical genius. I mean, we could not do this thing without him figuring out how to set up for all of the internet connections we have to do, setting up the soundboard, all of that stuff really complements what we do here, and very, very technologically savvy, as well as being creative as to what things we need to get done. But however, we will say this: he will go off and do some other stuff, and I will be we talked about this. I have some other ideas that I will be talking about. I know we haven't talked about video games in some time because of our nerd out. We'll get to that next week.
I was going to say next week is going to be it's not going to be a traditional episode. Yeah. It will be brought to you sort of as like a series finale where we're not going to leave any loose ends for you guys. We are going to tie things up. Mm-hmm. There's going to be some things that are sort of a few weeks out that we're bringing up and sort of like scratching the regular show lineup so that we can bring you those final things.
Yeah, we'll still have it'll be more of a universal commentary. It'll be more of a universal last word.
It will be. It won't be very specific.
We will do we'll finish the challenge. Steve will talk about the 10 most influential people in horror.
I will finish the challenge with the 10 most influential people in horror. And we will be watching Freddy Got Fingered to talk about in the Bad Movie Review.
We'll do that.
To close those out.
But we need your help, actually. We know some of you folks really will miss this show as I will. But we will talk about what questions you have for us.
Yeah, any question that you want to. Anything. Like, I'm not opposed to sort of answering anything. If you want to know what exactly I'm doing, what I'm going on to, or anything that we've talked about in the past, anything about any story that we've ever talked about or covered, we're certainly willing to answer those questions.
It's hard to get through. Steve also will be helping me set up some other stuff, some other internet stuff that I will be doing later on this year, which I'm excited to present to you guys. We're still throwing some ideas at it, and he'll help produce that before he steps away for some time. However, I will end it with this. This isn't the end of Bad Culture Crew as you know it. I want to reassure you on that.
Yeah, we're definitely, after I get situated in sort of a lot of the new things that I'm trying to pursue, we are going to bring this show back and do it as sort of a remote style because we will be in different parts of the country at that point.
Right.
But we'll still be able to get together on either Skype and remotely continue on in the world of bad culture because the premise of this show will never go away.
Yes.
I don't feel like there's ever going to be an instance where material for this sort of thing dries up.
Yes.
And that's what made it so much fun week to week because I never had any fucking clue what I was going to be walking into.
No.
When we would set up this show every week and reading so many funny stories and after doing so many fun challenges and creating funny, quirky lists and doing all this stuff, I can't imagine this not being a part of my life. So I really want to assure people that, hopefully by the beginning of next year, by the beginning of 2017, the show will be back and will be, the terrible will roll on.
Yes, and we probably won't do video, but we'll probably go back to doing the podcast stuff. But however, I know at least at that point, I'll have my own internet thing going on. Steve will have his own stuff going on as well, and it will be more of a joint yet separate, if that makes sense, type thing. But we'll still work together to bring you this show on a consistent basis once we get those two things figured out. So we just wanted to message that to you guys now. It was a difficult decision. We didn't know what the proper steps would be to handle this, but we felt like doing it sooner and giving you the message now, and then continuing, letting you know all that stuff, and we're giving you the opportunity to ask questions. So if you have any questions, please go to Bad Culture Crew or at Bad Culture Crew on the Twitter. Ask any questions from now. I will read them. Ask them from Thursday when this episode premieres all the way to Monday. Okay, you have the full weekend.
Yeah, you got the weekend to kind of like
any question you
come
want,
talk to me on Bad Culture Steve on Twitter. Ask me what the fuck's going on. I'll be completely honest with everybody.
We'll hold off. We won't answer them right away, but we'll answer them in there. So we need a segment. Okay, we need material.
And it'll be a segment, all right.
And we'll do that. So thank you very much for your understanding, and
thanks for enduring that long-winded explanation as to what's going on with the show that all 20 of you are listening to. We appreciate it.
Steve, let's pick a side.
Pick a side.
Now, the pick a side this week is who do you like better, Austin or Steve, and who is better in the whole long run of this?
I'm going with Austin.
Obviously. No. There's much more important things to debate. Pick a side this week is Lemonade versus Views, and it's not Lemonade like the drink. It is the album by Beyonce. Beyonce, okay, because that are you
talking about my favorite artist of all time ever?
Next to Drake's new album, Views.
How could the world do this to us? They put two great records like Drake and Beyonce out the same week. My fucking head's gonna explode.
Now let's compare these. I tried to listen to this, but fucking Tidal is the most nonsense thing ever.
So you try to listen to these on Tidal?
I try to listen to these just regular, on the internet, but a lot of albums just fucking Tidal and whatever. Who runs that? Jay-Z or something? I don't know. Freaking nonsense. Anyways. So Lemonade has 12 tracks on it, one of which we heard was the big single Formation. It also comes with an hour-long movie about Beyonce talking about poetry.
That's awesome. Is it about the Robert Frost that I was talking about earlier?
No, it's just her own poetry.
Damn
so
it.
it's all she's a poet.
I think I've caught like a very strange innuendo in the track list for Beyonce's Lemonade.
Oh, the 6-inch? Sorry, 6-inch daddy lessons?
All three in a row?
That is
Sorry, 6-inch daddy lessons.
Yeah, number 4 is Sorry, number 5 is 6-inch featuring The Weeknd, and number 6 is Daddy Lessons.
And number 7 is Love Drought.
Huh, yeah, that's just a little bit of a story.
So I'm just saying, like, that's
What if you go back, you go, Pray You Catch Me, hold up, don't hurt yourself, Sorry,
6-inch Daddy Lessons, Love Drought. It sounds like the whole first
then
half
it's
of
Forward
the record,
Freedom All Night, okay. And then Formation, for some reason.
which, yeah, is a great way to close an album because that song fucking blows.
Now, Views is Drake's album. He has 20 songs.
20 songs. Already I see a better album here.
Including an end that is like 80 minutes. His last song is Hotline Bling, which was a huge
I have never
hit.
heard that song, huh?
And 19 is the title album, Views. Now, Steve, people have been divided on this, which is the better album. As of two people who hasn't listened to much of either album, let's talk about this. What side are you on? Are you on Lemonade or Views?
Oh my god. Well, because I hate this lady with a passion, I have to be on Views side.
You're on
have
Views.
to be.
Okay, why
I mean,
Views?
the guy's got a song on here called You With Me, and it's the letter U. It's not even the word. I'm like, that's genius.
Wow, you just
Who
cut
would have
down.
ever thought of that?
Now, I've got a question. It's a little inconsistent because number 8 is with you, and he's spelling the full U, Y-O-U.
Yeah, he's spelling the whole word.
Which is it?
So wait.
So he's actually talking about the letter
track
U with
3
me.
is You With Me.
That means the letter U with him.
And then track 8 is With You. I wonder if
And it's question mark, you with me?
is there a difference to the songs?
And then with you. Well, Party Next Door is involved.
I like number 4 on Views. It's called Feel No Ways.
That's
Ways is
that's
plural.
a fragment.
Like that is that a fragment sentence?
I don't know. Okay.
Number 10, Still Here. I guess that's like
Hey, guess what?
I guess if you're listening to the album and you made it to number 10, you're still here.
It's him going, really?
Okay.
Now, here's my side.
Go for it.
I'm going to go Views. I
Oh,
Views.
nice.
Now,
Well,
the reason I'm going
that
Views,
makes sense to me.
Two reasons. One, well, there's a few reasons. One, it's longer. That's cool. That's more content, more bang for your buck.
Dude, we need quantity over quality. I don't care how good these 12 songs are. There's 20
It
here.
doesn't have an hour-long movie about poetry that I don't care about. It also has the only song I recognize, because the big singles are basically Formation versus Hotline Bling. And Hotline Bling, while stupid, is less stupid than Formation.
I mean, no, it's just super catchy. Like, I mean, you know when that hotline blings, that can only mean one thing. Are you fucking just genius? That is the greatest single lyric written in music history.
Now, there's some weird shit in these. Like, I'll say this. The only bad thing, like, there's one where, in Hotline Bling, I was telling Steve earlier this morning, that one of the lines is like, why didn't you stay home like the good girl that you used to be, or something like that. I'm like,
Well, maybe that goes back to number 16 on Views. Too good.
oh, Rihanna. Okay.
There you go.
And then Formation, she's sitting there talking about mixing Negro with Creole, get that Texas banner, which if I say it, I'm a racist, but Beyonce can say it.
And if I say it, I'm a racist too.
Yeah. Well, you're just a
Damn it.
racist. So anyways, I'm just sitting here going, no, I'm going to go Hotline. And the third thing is, if you go against Drake, you saw what he did to Meek Mill?
Yeah, I saw.
I don't want
He
that.
iced him. He totally fucking
don't wanna-
dominated.
I don't wanna be-
He crushed him.
That's my thing. Any final thoughts? Lemonade.
Yeah,
Views.
number 11. Best thing on Views. Controller.
So is he talking about like a PlayStation controller?
It's got an A at the end.
Oh.
It's got my vote.
Yeah, these are... One is just called 9. Why isn't 9 9?
Oh, dude, number 15 is called Pop Style. And is that referring to like his favorite soda?
Pop is good. But I say
It's pretty
soda.
good.
Should be soda style. It's like Gangnam Style, but about Coca-Cola.
Keep the family close. It's the first song on the record. He's a family
Keep
man.
the family
He's
close.
got family values.
He would let murderers into his house to be around his children.
He'd be like, oh man, you're on parole and your mom doesn't want you in the house? Psh, no problem. You just come stay with me.
Make sure you get on Bad Culture Crew. I'm going to point right at that camera there. Make sure you get on Bad Culture Crew. Let us know.
Friday, the pick a side poll.
Pick a side Friday.
Pick a side Friday will be
Steve versus Austin. No, it won't.
Views.
It'll be Views versus Lemonade.
Lemonade.
You're saying it wrong, Steve.
Am I? I mean, that's how
Also,
it's spelled.
the titles are better. Lemonade. I have whatever. Lemonade. You need to see things. You know.
Yeah, I agree with Drake way more.
We've got 2 more segments to do.
Oh, yeah, we do. Hey, I'm going to tell you right now, an Australian brewery has created a beer using the most disgusting ingredient I think anybody could ever think of in the history of existence. We're going to make it weird.
Make it weird.
There we go. Now, the official title of this article posted on UPI is Australian
not
brewery.
UTI?
No, it's all about UPI. UPN. Great. That's a great
That channel
great
was
network
replaced, right?
Yeah.
By quick
by the CW.
quick side note of that. Remember the Family Guy joke where they go to some big network and it's like they show all the different things that are in channels and they go to UPN and it's a potted plant.
Yeah.
It was like Fox says UPN and it's just potted plant.
So the official title of this article is Australian brewery creates beer using yeast from belly button lint. So the 7 Cent Brewery in Victoria announced on its website that the 2016 Great Australian Beer Spectacular next month. Spectacular, yes.
Tapular. Oh,
Yes,
because of the
next
tap
month.
and the
In Melbourne and Sydney, we'll
Jesus.
see the debut of Belly Button Beer, which is brewed using belly button fluff from the brewers.
Oh.
Perhaps the first beer in the world fermented from yeast captured from the brewer's belly button fluff. There will be a little bit of 7 Cent in every glass, the brewery said in a blog post. Some say, why? Some say, why not? The brewery said the team created several trial batches before using yeast collected from different brewers until they found the one that with the best character. Doug Burnham, co-founder of 7 Cent, said great care was taken to ensure the yeast strains were sterile. It's perfectly safe. Yeast is yeast. The beer is no different than any other beer out there, Brennan told the Australians. So, I mean, if it's not any different, why did they use such a
That's what I'm saying.
disgusting means? Brennan said that the completely unique yeast strain gave the beer a unique flavor. So now he's saying that it is different. This dude's totally contradictory.
Yeah, what are you, John Kerry?
Which the brewery said exhibits qualities of Belgian beer with the key characteristics being spiciness, clove, and light banana esters.
What are people taking bananas?
This sounds so revolting and disgusting. Hold on, let's get to the end of the article.
Oh, okay.
The orange zest and cordner seeds
fuck are people putting
were
in their belly
used to
button?
help complement the yeast, and calculated amount of Rawaka and Mosaic hope were added to increase the citrus qualities and give it a refreshing hop kick, the brewers said. 4 different grains were also used to add both body and complexity, including barley, wheat, oats, and rye. Bremner said that the belly button beer could be made more widely available after next month's festival if it gets good enough response. The team said that they were inspected by the Oregon brewery that created the beer using yeast collected from the brewers' beards. And this is a different brewery. The Polish brewery, dubbed the Ordeal of Yondy, made headlines last month with a failed crowdfunding campaign seeking to finance production of beer brewed using yeast from Czech models' vaginas.
What the fuck?
What are they doing overseas?
This is gross.
Why? What's the point?
You see,
Other than the story, which is absolutely the most disgusting and revolting fucking thing I've ever heard, would anybody want to do this or try this?
What I'm sitting here thinking about, it's like you watch a Sam Adams commercial, right?
I do.
They go, we got the hops, and it's all these fat guys with big beards.
Could you picture if the commercial was
Scraping stuff
them
out
pulling stuff out of their belly buttons, going, "Yeah, it's good," and just dumping it into the beer.
Like, what is? It's like somebody put in that. Did they put that ingredients in Matilda? Remember the movie Matilda? And he had to eat like the blood and sweat.
I'm familiar with Matilda.
And
yes.
I'm like, that's like what that is. What? Why is that appealing to anybody?
How, like, I wouldn't want to know that story. If somebody said, "Here, try our new brew," I'd be like, "Well, what is it?" They're like, "It's a surprise." And
like,
let me drink it, and I'd be like, "This is pretty goddamn good. What's in it?" They're like, "Belly button lint."
Like, that's what they would be like.
I'd be like, "What the fuck?"
Like, spit take right in their
I
face.
spit right in their face.
Jesus.
I put it right back in their fucking belly button. Just.
I don't know the point of this. I don't.
So would you want to know before or after? Like if they-
Before.
but what if they didn't tell you and then they told you after you drank it?
I'd be like,
there's no giving it back.
So I liked. Then I would be like, wow.
Because what if they
guys are nasty
said, "Hey,
people."
try this,"
And I
and
liked
you were
it.
like, "Hey, this is actually pretty good." They're like, "Well, you just drank out of somebody's fucking belly button."
I would feel gross. I'd be like nasty and embarrassed.
and you'd be like, "What kind of person does that make me?"
yeah.
It might question like a whole other realm of your life.
I wonder if there would be some weird placebo where I'd sit there and I'd get like sick afterward, you know?
oh,
Like, how
just
sedative-
the thought of it.
Right.
Yeah, I don't
right.
know.
You know what I'm saying? And then like 6 hours later, be like, I feel nauseous about must be that. Oh my, you know, that has terrible idea written all over it.
I think it's ridiculous.
Make the Ronald Reagan movie before doing that. I'll say that. If between the two, make the Ronald Reagan
I
movie.
might drink it if it's Will Ferrell's belly button lint. I mean, let's just be honest.
I'd lick Will Ferrell's whole body.
That's ridiculous and super gross, and I'm
would do
glad that we're ending the show because that's kind of terrible.
Well, I might as well get it out
I have
now.
a whole different opinion about you now.
I might as well get all that shit out.
So anyway, jump on Bad Culture Crew on Twitter.
Jump right on it.
Come over and talk to me, Bad Culture Steve, and let me know, would you try the belly button beer? Is that something that appeals to you? Is this one of your fetishes? Does it bother you in the slightest?
Belly buttons are weird, man.
That people's, and it's not just like somebody pulling a piece of hair off of their body or off of their head.
That's gross,
and like
too.
throwing it into the, yeah, that would be disgusting. But they're actually digging inside their orifices.
So I wonder, now here's my other final thought. So like if you work there, do you have to just like purposely not clean your belly button when you're showering? Because you got to get in there. You know what I'm saying?
I know.
Do you have an innie or
They're
an outie?
telling you-
You have an outie or an innie?
Oh, any.
Innie, yeah, so you
all
got to
the
really
way.
like...
You
so
got to dig.
So if you have an outie, are you like fired now?
You're totally exempt from the
Okay.
from the project.
Okay. Weird. Don't like it.
It is an absolutely bizarre story, and I don't approve at all. And you know what? I'm a big beer fan. Don't think I would like this.
I'm like, belly buttons, they're weird. I don't know.
Yeah, that's great.
Steve,
anyway,
show.
we've spent a lot of time over the year talking about my favorite subject in the world: bathrooms, pooping, toilets, all things that are funny.
Farting
You
is
know,
also funny.
so today I figured we would give you a really great, you know, as it being like the last word in the sense of the regular structure of the show.
The penultimate word.
How great it would be if we took a look, we dive deep into strange things that people do in the bathroom. Me and Austin are going to tally these up, and we're going to see who is the weird ass. It's the last word.
The last word.
So I found a great list here from Austin's favorite website, egokick.com.
Love Ego Kick.
That gives us 17 of the weirdest things that people do.
My second favorite website.
In the bathroom.
My second favorite website is Inner Id Punch.
Oh, I thought it was like momdiary.com.
No.
I remember we pulled a couple of articles off there too.
I was pulling a joke because the Ego Kick and then Inner Id Punch. You see, you take like your id or your ego. And,
Yeah, I don't give a shit about any of this.
okay, see the higher level, highbrow fans of the show.
See, the higher level
Beyond
IQ
you.
fans are going to get that, and I'm
Yeah,
just like,
that really
hey, let me tell
smart
you about
joke.
people that don't stand or don't sit down and wipe their ass.
Let's talk about. Okay, so what's the premise of this segment? Let's get into it because
All right,
we're gonna do a thing.
Basically,
You have a pen. Do you want me to climb around and get a pen for you? Because that's a theme.
There's one right here, and it looks like you've chewed on it, which is really gross. It's like what did you
No.
stick this in your fucking belly button?
I did, and it's not gross.
So you're gonna put a check mark next to all these things that you do.
Okay, so play
And-
along with us, okay?
And then at the end, we're
are
going
things-
to tally these up.
So these are things you do in the bathroom that are considered weird.
Yeah, everything on this list is considered weird.
Now the article writer, I assume, is also guilty of some of these things after going through these, right?
I don't know, because at the end they don't play along. They just tell you you're weird if you do this, and then they just end the article.
All right, so let's.
And I'm like, I bet you they do at least like 10 of these things.
Okay, so let's see.
Anyways,
so there's 17 of them?
There's 17 of them. Okay, so here we go.
All right.
Number 1.
All right.
Standing to wipe.
I do not stand to wipe.
I do.
You're a stander?
I do this.
Why are you a stander? What's
Well,
up with that?
check it out. It says most people wipe while they remain seated on the toilet, but some people stand up to do it.
Full-on stand.
Maybe it helps them reach better, and that's exactly what it does.
What do you got going on
It
down
helps
there?
me just get real nice and deep in
You're
there.
up in the taint?
Oh man, I scrape hard. I get it all out of there. I don't want to be walking around with swamp ass all day. I'm not doing that.
I don't.
This
Here's
prevents. This is 100% guarantee that you're not going to have swamp ass.
Want
for
to
the
know
rest
something
of the
weird?
day.
I was in a documentary about masturbation in college.
That doesn't surprise
And
me
at
at all.
first they
Like,
came to me.
yeah, of course they do.
Because they go, there's no way this guy's getting it for real.
And they were like, "So tell us, what kind of guys do you think about when you're jacking it?"
And then, like, in between things, when they're interviewing me, we talked about, like, taking dumps and stuff like that. And, like,
That should have been part of the documentary.
majority of them were standers. And I was a sitter.
Dude, I mean,
And
I don't
like,
I
and
don't
I was,
see
like,
what-
shocked by it.
I don't know
was like, what are you talking
I don't
about?
see what's weird about that.
I'm on the right. I'm glad to know I'm validated. I don't do that. So
Well,
you're weird.
good.
You're
I
winning
don't,
in weirdness.
I just don't get it. Like, could you explain to me what's weird about that?
Because you're already sitting, you just kind of lean up like this, you know?
No, I need to.
You do full on stand
I need
up.
to get up. I need to, and I think later on down the line, like there's another thing
that's
that'll come back. All right,
It's just,
number
just
two,
not right to me.
peeing in the shower.
Yeah, I do that.
I do this.
Who doesn't do that?
Many people admit to peeing in the shower
that.
while they take a shower. Why not? If you make a mess, you can just wash it away.
Now, I'm assuming more men do that than women.
I know some women that do this,
Now,
and they
here's the thing.
admit to it.
Do you stand over the drain? You kind of aim for that drain a little
No.
bit? Oh, you just flop it around everywhere.
I let it spray the walls. I don't care.
Well, then you're
I
wondering
I aim
why
at the-
there's piss and shit all over the walls
I aim
in
at-
restrooms, and you're part of the problem.
I aim up at the shower head. Like I play games.
so you
Like,
want to give yourself a golden shower?
No, I
You're
try
a
to
gross
fight.
man.
I try to fight the water pressure. I'm like,
You
I'm
play
winning. I'm winning.
games? What are you, 7? I just pee right in the drain.
I absolutely am 7 years old, especially when in the shower. It's so much fun. It's the only time when I can feel like a kid.
What?
I play.
Go get your CNC out. Play with that.
I play.
Instead of peeing on yourself like a fuck.
Look, I play Super Soaker with my shower head.
What?
It's a game that I play.
How do you win? You don't. You lose because you get piss in your fucking eye.
I usually
No
lose.
wonder you're blind as shit. You get piss in your eye.
I'm usually on the losing end of it. But you
Now,
know what?
listen,
I've never been a quitter.
Now, Seinfeld rule: you can't do that at public places. You ever see that episode?
Oh yeah, of course.
You know, they're all pipes, Jerry.
Yeah, they are all pipes. Let's be honest.
Just pipes.
All right, so I'm 2 for 2 here.
Fucking-
Number 3, spelling words. This one is for the men.
Now, is this a?
As it might be kind of hard for the ladies.
All right,
Do you
ladies.
spell words when you stream, when you pee? If so, you're not alone. Many men report doing it.
I don't do. That.
I don't do this.
I've done it like once or twice, but that does not count.
I've never done it at all, so that does count
No,
for
it
you.
doesn't.
I
Once
don't.
or twice, if you're bored, you spell a little A or something.
You spell an A,
My name's Austin.
but you know how to spell that? A. That's not spelling words.
Well, what if you have a long stream going? You're like, all right. Or the pee and snow.
Oh, you're talking about literally like spelling it out like with the urine.
That's what they're talking about.
I thought this was like people just stand there and go, barbecue. B-A-R.
No, they're talking about when you're in a urinal.
No, I don't write words. I don't write words with my urine either. But I thought people would like go into a bathroom and they're like, well,
Is that really what you thought?
I'm going to be here for a while. B-E-A-C-H. Beach. And the guy beside you at the next urinal is probably like, is he practicing for a fucking spelling bee? What's he doing?
Oh my god, that's so funny.
I really thought that's what that meant.
That's a funny way to take it.
Good. Number 4, running the sink. Many people run water in the bathroom sink when they go. This isn't some kind of weird comfort thing. This is about the sound of the water. It's simply a way to drown out the sound of that your body makes.
Now I'm going to put a stipulation. If you've ever done this when you're at a girlfriend's house for the first time dating, got a little poop.
I
going,
do not do this.
You've never. So I think I've only done it like once or twice when I've had to like go to the restroom at like a girl's house and I don't want to hear like blowing up a restroom.
Nope, you might want to mark yourself down for that one. That's weird.
Not true. That's not weird. Everybody does it, but
I don't do that.
In normality,
I spell words.
In normality. Artisan. A-R-T.
Chicken. C-H-I-K-E-N.
My next challenge, when we come back from hiatus, you're going to go in a restroom
and just start spelling words. Make sure it's a full restroom, too. All right, so running...
And then while you're doing it, you're like...
So you got one.
I've got one.
Running the sink. All right,
no, I don't. I have one total. I don't...
That's what I mean. You got one. Yeah. I've got two. We're moving on to number 5.
All right.
Take a look. Now, this is what I was talking about when it comes back to the wiping scenario. This might be one you can relate to. It might be a good health move. Most people admit to checking out their poop before they flush it down the toilet.
How do you not? Because you have to flush the toilet. That's what I'm saying.
Well, listen,
what are you shielding your eyes?
So what I'm doing is killing two birds with one stone. I stand up, turn around and look at it while I wipe, and I go, yeah,
between your legs?
Between my... No.
Do you like bend down and you're like... Look between your legs to see how the poop's going?
How would that work? I turn around, I'm wiping.
No, here's what... No. Wait. Hold on. So you get up, you're wiping, so you turn around?
Yes.
And then wipe?
Yeah.
Or you...
I turn around, I'm wiping...
So you're facing the toilet while you're wiping?
Yes. And
why would you do that?
I look at the poop, and
I'm like... That doesn't make any sense.
And I'm like, that's a good one. And I'm putting the toilet paper on top of it.
That makes less sense.
How?
Because if you were a stand wiper, I thought you would just stand up immediately and then wipe right there.
Well, I mean, you do.
And then you wipe again and turn around and wipe again?
You make sure you go.
Yeah, that's weird,
man. You go for the security wipe. And
even the wipers in that documentary I was doing stuff with didn't do that.
Oh, man, no. This is the security wipe. This is when you do the last ghost wipe. Make sure there's nothing left.
How many wipes you do?
About 10 or 12.
God damn.
It's messy up there.
I wanted to tell you something, though. But how do you flush a toilet without seeing what you created?
Well, I mean, you just go to the bathroom with the lights off.
I guess.
You never poop like in the pitch dark?
Well, I want to make sure it gets all in there, you know?
Well, you're going to miss the toilet? What are you doing?
Hey, man. I can't see in the dark.
And you're like, oh, God, I just realized that's the shower. I'm shitting in the bathtub.
That's like the classic joke. It's just like, oh, I loved how those were the sinks. Oh. You know, like...
Yeah, I love how they had the water that just came right up. It's like a bidet.
Yeah.
All right. So I guess you don't...
I think I do.
Yeah, take a look.
But who doesn't? That's my...
I definitely do that.
I don't know how you can not take a look.
Let's see. The next one, talking. Many people believe talking to each other in a public restroom is a big no-no. However, many men report chatting with their friends or even strangers while standing at a urinal.
Hate that. Don't do it.
I do not talk to people. I'm every once in a while, maybe I'll talk to, like, if I'm with somebody, like a friend.
And you're really drunk or something.
Yeah, I'll sit there and go, hey, just tell you about this. We're just talking about this thing out there.
You want to piss me off. And I'm sitting there trying to go.
It's really hard to sit and try to poop while somebody talks to you.
Because then you're like, so anyways, the Blue Jays are doing really good, you know, like.
And you're sitting there, you're like, I don't know, man.
Right?
Oh,
right.
Good one.
Weird.
So yeah, talking's a no-no. I don't do that.
Yeah.
Next one, getting naked. You might pull down your pants.
George Costanza move.
You might pull down your pants when you poop, but many people admit to taking off every piece of clothing. Perhaps they need to feel the fresh air on their skin. I do not do this.
Do not do it.
You know how weird it would be if I was like in a public, because I poop a lot, like throughout the day, like 6 or 7 times.
Good job.
And you know how hard it would be to get undressed this many times in a day? I would never get anything done. And especially if I was in a public restroom, I'd be like, hold on, I'm just putting my clothes back on.
And you would have to would you have to remove your sneakers?
Well, I would have to because
Ew.
I can't get my pants off without, can't pull them down.
Right.
Like the feet holes are too small for me to get around my shoes.
Yeah, that's a whole routine.
That's a big thing.
All right.
So no, I don't do that.
Either.
End of the first page, I'm up to 3.
I'm up to 2.
All right. Next one. These look synonymous. Like the next one is taking off your pants, and then the one after that is taking off your shirt.
Completely taking off your pants or completely taking off
if I
your
don't
shirt.
remove my clothes, I'm already telling you that these two, I'm going right past those because I don't,
I don't do those either.
I don't do that shit.
Just to pull down.
Okay, bidets. If you think bidets are a thing of the past, think again. Many people still have them in their homes, and wouldn't have it any other way. I don't own one.
I've never experienced it.
I've never used one.
I wonder what it's like. Is that like erotic or weird?
I don't know.
I don't want like.
I don't think I would be opposed to like trying one.
I'll give one a shot.
But I've never
where
even
would I go?
I've never even seen one.
I thought they were more of like a European type thing.
They are.
Okay.
And I've never been to Europe.
It's funny because it's European too.
So
Because of European.
I can stay away from that one.
All right.
So here's one that you might be into. Not sitting on a public toilet. Most people refuse to sit on public toilets. And understandably so. There is no telling what everyone who came before you did to that seat. Some squat or hover while others make toilet seats out of toilet paper. Do you do the toilet seat out of toilet paper?
Here's what I do. I used to do that, and then what I do was I take that thing and then I do a full wipe down. And then
Do you?
Yeah, I do. And then I sit.
You know what I've realized?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Oh, it doesn't.
It doesn't matter.
I used to. My mom was big about that when she
Yeah.
was telling me. She was like, "You got to put." But then
A lot of people that I know are huge on
and I'm
that.
fine with you if you do that. I don't think that's weird. You know, I get it. I don't do it,
So yeah, I do not mind sitting on public toilets.
but I do give it a wipe down.
I don't create any sort of barrier. I just take it as like most of the time I'm running to the bathroom in such haste that it's going to explode out of the back of me. So I'm just like, I don't care.
Well, remember,
I
like
spray the
years
walls
ago
anyway.
when people thought you could get AIDS from that, and then you actually learned.
I
the
do
thing.
remember, yes.
It's like no, that would die within 0.3 seconds. You know, it'd be impossible for you to ever contract the disease
it
that way.
doesn't matter. Okay,
Right.
it's your ass.
Yeah,
You know,
you're not gonna have that happen to you.
it's fine.
That was a funny myth.
Here's one. Endure the smell. Do you spray air freshener or light a candle after you poop?
Not
If
really.
so, you are in the minority. Most people don't mind the scent of their own poop and just let it work itself out in the bathroom.
That's what I do.
Yeah, I definitely I do this.
Now, when you were living with a lady, you had that going on, right? You had the spray going on,
Nope, I just pooped and walked out the room.
and left the door
And
open
then,
wide.
and then she would
And then
walk
took a
into-
fan.
and pushed it towards the bedroom. And I'm like, hey, look what I just did. And she would be like, oh, God. Because some of those are really bad. Like, it smells like a fucking radioactive factory. Like there's a nuclear explosion.
Radioactive factory.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
All right.
The next one, pooping at home. Some people just flat out refuse to poop anywhere but the safety of their own home. That's okay until you find yourself in a hotel for a week-long vacation.
Right.
In the middle of Target with an upset stomach.
Right.
Well, especially at Target these days, you never know who you're running
You can
into in
poop
those
anywhere
beds.
you want.
You can poop in the...
You can poop in the fitting rooms if you want to. Just go ahead.
It all depends. Like, whoever you feel like as an individual, you can just poop right, you know.
Make sure you continue to lock eyes with them.
Getting a box of Cheerios from the grocery aisle, pooping next to the Pop-Tarts. Why not?
But yeah, we talked about that last week. My friend can't do that. He has to go to a private residence.
So weird. Yep, I will put if there's a hole in the ground, I will
I
shit in it.
prefer to because I'd rather destroy and have clog up somebody else's restroom.
That's what I mean. Like, I'll blow up somebody else's bathroom.
Yeah, the company will pay for it.
All right, so I checked one thing on this page, and that was endure the smell because I like it.
Wait, what is the endure the smell thing? Oh yeah, I did that too. Wait, no. That's if you. What's weirder? Is it weird to endure the smell or is it weird to spray?
It's asking you if you endure the smell.
Oh yes, sorry.
So yeah, I do that because I like
so
it.
it's what,
I like
4
it
to
to
3?
smell.
It's 4 to 3.
I like it to smell of poop.
Yeah, I don't care.
We only got 3 left here.
All right.
This is one that I've actually spent an entire last word talking about. No hand washing. Believe it or not everyone washes their hands after using the bathroom, even after pooping.
Oh, you got to do it.
Kind of makes you want to rethink ever touching anything again.
Nasty. You got to wash your
Yeah,
hands.
I definitely wash my hands. You people are fucking disgusting. That's way worse than playing Super Soakers with your shower head. I'm saying because it just runs down the drain. This stays on your hands
and in your face.
This stays on your hands until you wash it off. Gross.
Yeah, okay.
All right, next one. I'm sure everybody does this because this is the age that we live in. Texting.
Yep.
Next time a friend texts you, think about this. He or she may be on the toilet. People take their smartphones everywhere these days, including the bathroom. I don't know anybody who doesn't text.
Now, to
on
me,
their
that's
on
just the
toilet.
newspaper of today.
Absolutely. Like,
You know, 'cause remember when
you're
your
just
dad
reading it.
That's when my dad would go in the bathroom, take the news, and and then it smelled like dad in there for an hour. you
Yeah,
know?
I'm like, here I am, just take my phone in the bathroom, read my friend's relationship woes. It's the same thing.
Hey, buddy.
And finally,
Hey, by the way, I'll tell you this: whenever there's a Bad Culture Crew Twitter update, I am always on the toilet letting you know. That's
Oh, good. Well, I'm glad that that's where they come from.
98% of the time. It's always me on the toilet.
Our Bad Culture Crew Twitter updates come from the shitter.
Yep.
Literally.
Yep.
And finally, the last one on the list, which I don't know why people do this. This
All right.
drives my balls through a grinder so much.
Oh.
Selfies. What's
Ew.
worse than receiving a text from someone on the toilet? Receiving a selfie from someone on the toilet.
That's wrong.
Bathroom selfies are always kind of weird, but toilet selfies are a whole new kind of strange. Why do you think that it's cute, funny, necessary, or in any way relevant to send anybody, or even what even makes you think, you know what I should do right now? I'm taking a shit. I'm making this great face. Let me turn my camera on my phone real quick. I need to capture this moment because this is something that I'm going to remember. Unless you are bleeding from your anus and you're recording this for medical research, under no circumstance should your phone ever be in any sort of record mode when you're on the fucking toilet.
That's mad gross.
Unless, I mean, now I could say, let me rephrase. It should never be in a record mode in a video capacity. If you are like laying down the funniest fart track of all time, by all means, open an audio recorder and just let it go. Because that I would listen to all day.
You'd listen to farts all day.
I mean, anybody that listens to like pop radio stations, that's all they do anyway.
Yeah, it's still better than Lemonade or Views. But
they just listen to farts all day
that
long.
should be the third big. Lemonade Views or the fart soundtrack from Steve's asshole.
I'm actually going to record this now.
You're a weird person. Are you weirder than me? I have 4 points.
I have 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 5 points.
Now, I think your thing is the standard move, and that's what puts you over the top.
I am 1 point weirder than you when it comes to bathroom etiquette.
You're a standard.
And
toiling around.
I totally stand. I totally stand and turn around and look at it. I examine.
So weird.
I examine each turd individually with a stick as I stand above it and go.
Stick?
Huh.
What do you do? Bring sticks everywhere?
No, I just. You just find one.
Where? Where do you find sticks? You have to go outside?
In the bathroom.
You've got fucking
Anyway,
problems.
you're standing in there and you're like, yeah, oh man, that's a meaty one under there. You're just like, you're examining each piece of fecal matter with the greatest of care just to make sure you're healthy,
I still think the standing thing is weird.
I think that it's great. I don't know. I never found it to be weird. I didn't know that people sat down and wiped their ass.
That's what most people do.
I had no idea.
It's weird. If I'm more normal, then that's a little strange. But anyways, what are we doing in the last episode of the series 1 of Bad Culture Crew, we'll say? As you threw your fucking thing away?
I threw all my papers away
that's
already.
Good planning. You're already ready to go.
We already kind of talked about what we're going to do next week.
But let's remind the folks.
Next week is the series finale of Bad Culture Crew. I say it kind of with sadness in my...
Just talked about poop.
In my...
Fucking Christ. Like, come
sadness in my voice. Next week, we will be doing our bad movie review of Freddy Got Fingered to close out our bad movie review segments. We will be talking about my challenge. I will complete that. Talk about the most influential horror director of all time, and along with the list of the 10 most influential horror directors. And of course, we will answer all of your questions that you submit to us.
Yeah, please go to at Bat Culture Crew and ask us any questions. We will write them down.
And I will certainly answer the one question that gets submitted.
Yeah.
I
think there'll be a few.
But of course, we will have all of that and still so much more.
We'll have more? I don't think we'll have that much more.
Oh, yeah. There will still be more.
Oh, okay.
Because remember, we still are having a culture commentary and a last word.
That is the more part.
There is so much more next week as for one last time, the Bad Culture Crew rolls on.
Thank you for listening to Bad Culture Crew. We hope you enjoyed the show. Don't forget to check your feed every Thursday for a new episode. Be sure to stay connected with the crew on social media. We're at Bad Culture Crew on Twitter, the Bad Culture Crew Facebook page, and of course on badculturecrewproductions.com. We are pleased to bring you the best of the worst. Because at Bad Culture Crew, we find the terrible so you don't have to.